He was appointed to the Court of Appeal in 2022 by President Akufo Addo. Emmanuel Senyor Amede by President Mahama in 2025.
October.
So this is what we are dealing with. Well, that cleared in my mind because you must deal with it.
What are you implying by this?
No, because you see, immediately it came, the first impression was that President Mahama and this administration has introduced their judges to go and then give a very fictitious or wrongful judgment to save one of their own. So that was the first angle I needed to look at it. Having established that, then I went to the decision whether or not it was unanimous or 2-1 or then it was unanimous. I said, then let me take a critical look at it. Sedinam was accused for causing financial loss to the state, stealing, conspiracies to steal, improper use of state property, or what do you call it?
In fact, the number of counts are...
it was 7 days, but when you drill it down, it becomes about 8.
Right. 9.
9, yes. Now, beyond that, when you go into the judgment, charges 5 to 71, my goodness. That we had an attorney general that went to court and did this. No substance, no clarity, contrary to what Article 19.2. And let me read for you to understand what we are dealing with. And this was a matter that somebody is supposed to go to prison for 10 years. Look, the mere fact that we are saying you must prosecute, and by the way, this attorney general must take a cue from it. The mere fact that we know people have stolen. If you are doing a case, make sure you do a watertight case so that nobody gets away with that.
What are you implying? That the attorney general, which attorney general?
Godfred, I mean, total waste of our time. And not him alone, not him alone. The judge just sat on this matter. The judiciary must take a second look at it. I'm telling you. If this is how they come by their conclusions, if this is how they disregard the laws of the land. So Article 19.2, with your permission, I read. 19.2d.
I hope it's got something to do with Godfred, because you retract that statement if there's no substance.
But the judges have said, what the judges have said, what the judges have said in this judgment is to the effect that we had a very...
No, because you're mentioning his name
ineffective, inefficient, incompetent attorney general, as well as the judge that sat on it was incompetent. Let's get this straight. So Article 19.2d.
Yes.
Is it Article 19, first of all, a person charged with a criminal offense shall be given a fair hearing within a reasonable time by a court. Now, the D says, be informed immediately in a language he understands and in detail of the nature of the offense charge. Now, if you go to charges, count 5 to 70. I won't, because of your time, sometimes you want to manage or micromanage us here. I will just quickly go into some of the charges and you understand why some of you must be furious. So count 5.
Yes.
I'm coming on.
So this is a judgment.
This is a judgment.
Yes.
I have it here.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I don't know why you this. Give me some few minutes. I will get there.
So I'll put you under fire today.
No, you have to put me.
Look. So why are you mentioning Godfred Ami's name now?
No, Godfred Ami. He has a letter. I'll address it.
Yes, I was about to tell you about that letter. If you read, okay, you.
So let's say count 51.
Okay, I'm
count 51.
I'm giving that to you.
Willful causing financial loss. Yes. Contrary to Section 179A of the Criminal Offences Act 1960. Particulars of offence.
Yes.
Said that Tamaglu, Ationu, Daniel Azimo, on or about 25th August 2016, Accra, in the Greater Accra region, willful caused financial loss to the state of 158,000 to the state. What is this?
That is the particulars.
That's the particulars. And when we say particulars, let me read it again. This is count 51.
Yes.
51.
Yes.
Statement of offence. Willfully causing financial loss to the state contrary to Section 179A3 A3A of the Criminal Offences Act 1960, Act 29. Now, particulars of offence. Sedna Christian Tamaklu Ationu, Daniel Axim, on or about 25th August 2016, in Accra, in the Greater Accra region, willfully caused financial loss of 158,000 to the state. You ask yourself, financial loss to which institution? Well, how did they do it? How did it come about? What was the location? This is what Article 19.2 requires. So when you say this, how do you expect the person to come and say, I committed anything?
So how is this Godfred Ami's fault?
He did this. He preferred all these charges. Now, so the court identified that there were defects in the charges. To that extent, they struck out from 5 to 71 all those charges. It was just frivolous, it was scandalous, it was just waste of everybody's time. So it was waste of paper.
Direct question. I'm saying, how is this Godfred Dame's problem?
So Godfred Dame is the one that went to court and did this shoddy work. And remember, you see, it must prick your mind. When Sedinam came to this country, what were their communicators saying? They told you that the court was going to overturn the ruling.
Yes.
Is that not the case?
Yes.
That was their mantra. Because they themselves saw the judgment at the High Court and realized that it could not stand the test of time.
So, are you aware?
Yes.
That Godfred Dame is telling us
yes.
at the time this case started,
yes.
he was not the Attorney General of the Republic.
No. That is another unseriousness. Let me tell you. Sedinam was incarcerated somewhere April of 2014, 2024. 2024, is that not the case? Mm-hmm. Yeah, April of 2024. Yeah, by 9th of May 2024, the lawyers had filed an appeal.
Yeah.
The mere fact that saw
they gave notice that they were going to appeal. They are well within time, I agree.
They had appealed.
But I'm asking you a question.
Yes.
That what has this got to do with Godfred Dame?
Because
he was not Attorney General at the time this started.
Let me put it in simple terms. When anyone goes for an appeal, in simple terms, the person is going for, if you're a student, you are going for remarking.
Yes.
That a lecturer had marked your work and you believe that the lecturer did not do well and that you got more marks than what you were given. So it was Godfred Dame's work together with Justice
Godfred Dame did not charge Sedinam.
No, he did.
I mean, he wasn't Attorney General at the time. He told you the beginning, the genesis of the case.
Yeah.
At that time, and you have that statement.
No, the statement.
Is that not what you've printed?
No, he is talking about the appeal, that he wasn't the Attorney General during the time of the appeal. I'm saying that at appeal you don't provide fresh evidence. It has to do with what was adjudicated at the High Court. The court of appeal only takes the judgment at the High Court, all the documents that were presented, and then make a determination on that. Let's go into the matters. Sedinam, we were told, had expended 90 million cedis, had led this country to lose 90 million cedis. And when you look at the charges, the colossal amount involved was about 61 million that was involved in the GPR2 transaction. That must look together.
So what are you telling me, Zulu?
No. Let's educate our people this morning. That the 61 million Ghana cedis must look and GPR2 sign the contract to provide them with 350 cars.
How is this Godfred Dame's problem? I want you to retract that because...
Which one am I going to retract, Godfred Dame?
I'm telling you...
In
fact, he could take you on. Take you on for this.
I would be so happy. Look, there is a case that I have not made mention of it. The day, and I will not mention the name of the case, I will not talk about it. The day the appeals court will decide on that matter, that is where me and Godfred Dame, it will be all over. Because see, certain things, certain wrongs have been done against personalities, against their human liberties, that the society knows of it, but we have kept quiet.
Have you read a statement from Godfred?
I read it and it's not matter. Look. Yes, you see, his statement even gives the MPP out. What were we told by Gyamfi and his people? And I have heard a lot of MPP people say that the records of proceedings or the exhibits, some of the documents that were supposed to be transmitted to the appeals court were never done.
That was said in Parliament by Bafo.
And I listened to Godfred Dame himself. This is his letter. You can check whether it is not from him.
No, I want to be sure.
Cross check.
So this looks like what I've seen on Facebook.
Give it to me.
But today is colour. Today is colour.
You want to spend money to print colour, you don't even appreciate it. Now, paragraph 8 of Godfred Dame's own statement.
Yes.
The Court of Appeal, you know this case when it started, the lady that was presiding was Her Ladyship Mensa Dacha. You understand? Yes. Now, the Court of Appeal presided over by Her Ladyship Mensa Dacha proceeded to inquire. In fact, if I read it from you will not even understand. Let me start from 6.
Yes.
This is Godfred Dame's speaking.
Statement, yes.
My understanding is that the prosecuting state attorneys were surprised when they were served with the written submissions of the accused appellant on 16 February 2026 because they had no prior notice of the pendency of any proceedings. Nonetheless, they put together written submissions in opposition to the appeal and applied for leave from the Court of Appeal to file same, which they did on 9 April 2026. Now, 7. In their written submissions, the principal state attorney repeated complaints about an incomplete record of appeal. Are you taking notes?
Yeah, so that's where it emerged.
And the omission from the record of all the exhibits tendered by the prosecution at the trial, and the fact that they became aware of the instant proceeding after the court had directed the parties to file their written submissions. Now listen to the 8. The Court of Appeal, presided over by Her Ladyship Mensa Dacha, proceeded to inquire into the fundamental matters raised by the state attorneys which affected the court's jurisdiction to determine Ms. Attorney's appeal. By ordering that, listen, this is Mensa Dacha ordering that 3 volumes of the record of appeal, which the Republic did not have access to at the time it filed its written submission, be given to the Republic. Now, when she ordered this, listen to Godfred.
Yes.
This was done.
I have the judgment here.
You have the judgment there?
The judgment, yeah.
This was done.
Yes, the rectification.
The matter was adjourned. So those that are going to town with that fact that, there were some exhibits that were missing, these are all pure propaganda.
So the court had provided opportunity.
Everything. And let me say that I don't know how you want us to proceed today, because this is a matter that must take the entire time. I'm not interested in your next topic.
I know.
I want us to deal, because it is very dangerous for you to put an innocent soul behind bars. What I'm saying is that all this noise has come about because Madam Achiono has cornered from this country.
So in your submission, there's only one challenge I have.
Needless.
There's only one challenge.
What charge do you have?
I'll come back.
All right, I'll be on standby.
And it's because that you've spoken for almost how many minutes? You've not mentioned the name of the Attorney General of this Republic.
But
you don't see him as doing anything.
No, but but let me say that,
particularly when he's telling you that he this government by this time.
The AG must not waste anybody's time and tell us that he's going on appeal. He must not go and spend every one city.
But I'll come back.
That will be hopefully costing financial.
I'll come back to you on the AG.
All right.
Yeah, Blessed.
Yes.
Yeah, good morning and good morning to your viewers and to Solo as well. I think on a normal day, if you wake up, considering the journey this country has taken upon itself to ensure that the regime of accountability will become very effective in this particular country, and we are at the point where somebody has been convicted for almost 20 good years, right?
Oh, you mean Chairman?
Yeah. So when you are on that particular point, you get energized, get motivated that this regime of accountability is in effect, and that whoever that have doubt about this whole concept of being accountable will be convinced that yes, indeed, at this point in time we are on course. So if you wake up a day and you hear that somebody who has been convicted has been acquitted, definitely the reaction will be rage, anger, resentment, and those kind of ways. So politically, I think this whole thing might look like a shit show, and people are likely to get angry because of the space we find ourselves. So politically, if anybody out there is angry about this particular acquitter, it is because of the circumstances and the platform we find ourselves in. And people might not be interested in whatever the judgment say, whatever that the judge found, whatever. On the onset, that anger can be accepted or is acceptable because of the situation and the circumstances we find ourselves in. And I think that is the reason why you saw those massive outpouring of resentment, anger, and those kind of stuff on various social media platforms, and then many of the reactions that followed. So for me, I can perfectly understand, because personally, when I heard on that she has been acquitted, I was very furious, just like Solo said, very angry. But you see, if you pause for a second and begin to look critically at the judgment and then begin to inquire as to what exactly happened or what occasioned this whole thing, then you begin to have a different understanding and a different thought altogether. Because the platform we find ourselves right now, if you look at the atmosphere, like I said, it's very charged. Ghanaians are in for blood, and people are not ready to listen.
You and Solo this morning, I don't know. Who's prepared for? I mean, what are you guys saying?
No, I am saying that the atmosphere calls for the reaction. That's what I'm saying.
Kind of reaction.
You think Ghanaians are demanding accountability? Look at the pressure people have been heaping on government for ORA to work. You understand? So at the back of it, if somebody has been convicted, and you wake up a day and you hear that the person has been acquitted, the public anger and the reaction, that is what I'm saying, that is justifiable within that particular context. Don't be mischievous. That is a fact. That is exactly what you're trying to do, because the mindset of the people is tuned to revenge. They want to hear nothing but people, because over the years people are convinced that political actors have taken the people for granted. They've taken us on a ride. And when it's time for accountability, people will actually have to be accountable. Like I'm saying, if you pause for a second upon all the anger and begin to review the document, then I am not sure anybody will read this particular judgment and come to the same state he was before reading.
Absolutely.
Have you read the judgment?
I have. I am saying that nobody will read this judgment and come to a conclusion. And after reading the judgment, nobody can also say that Sedinam is innocent.
Okay, at the same time.
At the same time, she is not innocent. Just because somebody did a poor job.
So we can't say the evidence.
Somebody did a poor job. So I can confidently sit here and say, sir, per the ruling and the judgment and the consideration, the fact, everything, she is not innocent. But somebody did a poor job, and the judge who sat on the matter could not in any way.
So if you're not innocent like you are.
Okay. No. You see,
if you're not innocent like you are, then what's the opposite?
In criminal prosecution, it's not just about whether you are innocent or guilty.
Okay.
You need to prove beyond reasonable doubt, not foolish doubt.
But Sedinam cannot call herself innocent.
For me, if you look at the circumstances, she cannot. But you see, to convict somebody, there are certain standards that must be proven, and the standard in criminal prosecution is reasonable beyond reasonable doubt. So
who is doing this poor job, by the way?
Which poor job? So let me tell you.
Yes.
An accused person has been charged on almost 7 categories of offenses, different: stealing, conspiracy, money laundering.
70, isn't it?
Then you come back to draft almost 78 charges, and because people were in the haste, the numbering was wrong, and the judge dealt with it. Yes, it was 80. 80. That is the rush and the
49. They jumped to 52.
And
when we're counting the
yes, on the charge sheet there was a mistake on it. So,
but I mean, this is a
but the judge deliberately took his time to discuss that, just to give you a notion the bad job that was done. First of all, 78 count. In criminal prosecution, you need to prove every single doubt beyond reasonable doubt, and that is a Herculean task no serious prosecutor will bring upon himself. In the Wontumi case, the count were 6. So you realize that proving it become easy, but if you jump up, we call these charges trump up charges. Let's put them together like a cha-cha prosecution. So that if this one doesn't pick, this one will pick. If this one doesn't pick, this one will pick. So it becomes
they are playing cha-cha in court.
Oh, exactly. That it becomes very hollow and weak. So they did not do us a favor because of their inefficiency in the way the matter was handled. Somebody who's supposed to be in prison today is walking free because on technicalities, and there is nothing that can be done.
I thought you said that the fact that she's not innocent.
Yes. I'm saying that she's not innocent. The mere fact that she's not innocent doesn't mean that the judges had enough basis to convict her. And you see, just to prove a point, let me just take you to the judgment.
Which part of it?
The judgment, let me take you to 103.
Yes. The
prosecution case was that the appellant, then Chief Executive Officer of Maslok, caused to be paid to herself a sum of 164,000, blah, 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 to represent an unused leave commuted into cash and ex gratia. It was further alleged that she authorized payment of 109 by way of ex gratia to Mustafa Abubakar Barima, the grave man of the charge. Was that both payments were made...
the government, you mean?
The government.
Yes.
Payments were made without verification and in accordance with existing procedure. It therefore lay upon the prosecution to prove beyond reasonable doubt that the 2 payments were contrary to identifiable and applicable verification procedure. The procedure that required proof of both procedures said to govern these payments and of precise respect in which which the appellant breached it.
So the point is?
My point is, let me make a point.
Let him go and do the Q&A, the question and answer. Go to the question and answer.
The evidence
of the question and answer.
The evidence of PW5, the head of
first of all, establish who is the PW5, the head of finance of Maslow.
Yeah, so this is a Q&A.
Okay.
So you tendered
PW5.
Yeah, PW5. It says you tendered exhibit A, AC, and AB, which relate to payment of end of year ex gratia to AI and her former deputy. Is that correct? He said yes.
So the finance officer is confirming that payments have been made to
Sedinam and then the other guy.
Yes. And then the payments were processed by your office. Is that correct? Yes. The processing was based on documents relating to the appointment of A1 and her deputies. Is that correct? Very correct.
Then what was the question again?
Then in processing the payment, did you notice anything untoward? No, I did not notice anything untoward.
Who's saying that? The finance
and who is the prosecution witness for the state?
No, come now. I need to understand.
Yes, the finance director. It's Q&A. He's on the witness box and they were asking me questions.
You are being cross-examined.
So you put your signature.
Ivan, which document are you reading?
The judgment, have it here.
The judgment. Do you have that document?
No, take it.
Okay, no, give it to her.
The substance of my point, I haven't even gotten there.
You haven't? Okay, no, get it for me.
So I authorized those payments and did not find anything wrong with that. But listen to what the judge said. That the evidence does not establish that the appellant authorized the impugned payment. On the contrary, PW5 accepted the payment were processed by his office. They were found upon the appointment documents of the appellant and her former deputy and issued by the Chief of Staff Office of the President. He observed nothing untoward in the process and he authorized the payment because he found nothing wrong with that. There was no evidence, that is the court talking, that the authorized payment were the authorized and improper payment. Still less, she procured it by deception, misrepresentation, or the presentation of false documentation to the office of
head of
Yes, the prosecution accordingly failed to prove beyond reasonable doubt the appellant was responsible for any unauthorized payment contrary to a verified procedure. The conviction and the sentence on this count cannot stand and set aside. Blessed. So if you walk through some of these trump-up charges, exaggerated, inflated, crafted out of emotions. Sometimes you look at the quantum the woman has taken and say, hey, then you craft charges. That was emotionally motivated kind of charges that were crafted out of the quantum. And at the end of the day, they could not provide any reasonable.
You see how Solo is happy that you're all making.
Yeah, I'm making this point.
That's the truth. This is
and there is something that if I find it, you'll be shocked.
There's another part.
You'll be very shocked.
A lot of parts.
Ivan, how did you find all of this? Okay,
it's in the judgment. It's in the judgment. But I'll take my time. So what I'm trying to say.
Wow, I hope you're taking note of the points. And anyway, wait, hold on. Let me say good morning to the two gentlemen joining us. Awal Mohammed is... hold on. At least say good morning to them.
Propaganda.
Awal Mohammed is member of the National Communications Team of the New Patriotic Party. Solo's former political party.
Which is that?
And then we have Dr. Sammy here from the presidency joining us. I just want to...
Yeah, I understand.
And let's say...
We are speaking for 17 minutes.
I know. Come now.
Who else has to come there?
No, just to...
No, guys.
Personally, I am angry that the woman has been acquitted. If I don't tell you, I'm lying. I'm very angry. Very, very angry. Oh, that is the fact. But the fact of the matter is that there was a case where the prosecution said she did authorization without... she signed a document without authorization. And the judge said that because the charges were framed in negative, then the positive will be on the woman to prove beyond.
So now the defendant becomes...
How is that
possible?
This is where
I have a problem with the two of you. Okay. Listen to my problem here, my challenge here. That by virtue of the fact that this woman left the shores of this country, we could not corroborate evidence. You agree?
Yes.
No, you must not agree because in criminal matters, if you are accused,
why didn't you return?
If you are accused, you don't have anything to say in court.
No, you can be in court and keep quiet. Why are you just blaming Godfred? If you need agree, it's a whole process.
I agree with you. The woman deciding to stay and everything, that is what has generated.
Because in the Want-to-Me case, Want-to-Me helped corroborate evidence. And that's how come the judge was able to establish circumstances.
But he was not supposed to do so.
Yes, but I'm saying.
But you see, you also understand that the entire criminal jurisprudence is built to favor criminals.
Then.
Oh, how?
Oh, yes.
No.
Oh, yeah. That's true. The
that is supposed to.
No. I am telling you on authority.
The burden of proof is on the state.
Yes.
It doesn't mean it favors criminals.
I'm telling you that the entire criminal jurisprudence favors a criminal because the proof beyond reasonable doubt. When it comes to proof,
presumption of innocence doesn't mean that you are guilty. You can't tell me favors criminal.
Let me make a point.
Why are you not mentioning the woman's name? Because she also left the country.
But I'm discussing the judgment. The fact that she was left is not in the judgment. We are discussing I'll come there. But my point is that the entire criminal jurisprudence is built to protect criminals.
No. I mean,
let me tell you, because if an accused person is brought before a court and he decides not to speak, even if Sedinam were to be here and he decides to do like this, still the prosecution will have to prove their case beyond reasonable doubt. You understand? And because the judge said, because she was not here, she couldn't collaborate. But that does not exempt you from proving your case beyond reasonable doubt. And the judge did something. She said, because authorization, those particulars were negative, then the burden shifts to the accused, which is a lie. Because in the criminal...
So we have to prove that she indeed signed...
Absolutely. Because where the burden of proof
and how, honestly speaking, how are you going to confirm that if you are the prosecutor?
No, but you are the one alleging...
No, but first of all, let me
you need to
sign several signatures. That receipt we are talking about had a reference number. So if any receipt that you see a reference number there, it means if you go to Maslow, it should be on file. Now, beyond that, they could not produce that. They could not produce the receipt on file. Now, beyond that, the judgment was saying he gave the money to Sedinam at Batuna. You have paid your money. Why did Sedinam ask the gentleman in 2015? This transaction took place in 2014. But in 2015, Sedinam went back, that is Masrock, wrote to the gentleman when under Sedinam's leadership that you are owing us.
Yes.
You claim you have paid me. I'm still writing to you that you owe us. Now, when the gentleman was asked, when they wrote to you, what did you tell Sedinam? So I sent a message, a WhatsApp message. Produce the WhatsApp message to even collaborate what you are saying. There was none. So under such a how would you?
So why Sedinam herself to confirm?
That was I don't know why she ran away. It was a bad move.
So why are you not condemning that act too?
No, but I started by condemning that all this has become a news because she herself, and interestingly, she took part in the greater portion of the trial. Let us put it on record that Sedinam was in this country. She saw the accused being cross-examined. So everyone will be allowed. That's why she had to abscond. I can't wrap my head around it.
She told us she wasn't well.
Oh, she was well. They shouldn't annoy us with it.
So you see, the reason why I'm trying to disengage from the fact is that we are discussing the judgment. Yes. But when it comes to the woman and what she did, I've told you that
the reality.
Exactly. There's something nobody can run away from. The men's right. The fact that she decided not to come is another thing. Yeah. But we are discussing the substance of this particular ruling. So when the judge said that the charge has been framed in negative, so in the flip side is on the that is not true, and that was discussed extensively by this particular judge, because if you look at Section 11 of the Evidence Act, it is quite clear that even where the burden shifts to the accused person, the standard of proof is not proof beyond reasonable doubt. It's on balance of probability, and that is quite clear. That has been established. So in this particular case, if the burden is to shift to the accused person, then it is either a statute has prescribed, just like if you go to Section 206 of the Criminal Offences Act. When you have a weapon, you brandish a weapon, you need to prove
offensive weapon.
Exactly. And I think Section 41(1) of the Narcotic Commission Act 1019, that is also there, and several other portions. Right. So there are circumstances where there is a statutory imposition on the accused person to adduce evidence. But in these instances, that wasn't the case. So what I'm trying to say that there are enough basis, judiciary, for the judges to arrive at the conclusion that they arrived, because the charges, most of them were trumped up, some were inflated, some were exaggerated.
Let me come to Awal.
There's
another round. There's another round I want us to deal with, because his party has even made some social land.
Let me end. And then, so if you look at all these things, we must be furious because some people did a bad job. For somebody who is not supposed to be an innocent person to walk free. And for me, that is why every Ghanaian should be angry.
At who?
At the prosecution and everything that happened.
Not at the government?
No. So today, we must be very forceful, because the how do you call it? The appeal.
Ivan, I'm asking you
that. The appeal. No. The appeal, because the appeal was premised on an earlier ruling. You cannot blame the AG today because they couldn't introduce any other fact. And there is this lawyer who has been going around TV lying to people that...
What's the name?
I don't know. I saw him on Metro TV. He has been lying.
The member...
Oh, yeah. He has been lying to people on TV.
It's very bad.
With confidence. With confidence. That the AG deliberately connived. And for that matter, that is the reason why the accused person has been let go, because they were supposed to write to rectify the document. Because there are other documents that were used in the instant case, which are not used.
So let's just read that.
That is a lie, because I have the affidavit here. I have the ruling that was given. And I will give you the judgment.
No, but he read that.
No. What he read
was the statement
from Godfred Adame, but I am giving you the original ruling from the court.
Yes.
So look at the court.
No, I'm giving you that. Go and look at the written submission by the state.
What are you talking about?
Then let me come to
the written submission by the state.
So here, I'm not going to bore you.
The written submission by the state has been accepted here.
So I say
yes.
So let's get into this is
an application. This is the court ruling. This is the application or notice by the Republic applicant for rectification of appeal records. It has been opposed by the appellant or the respondent.
Yes. You mean the lawyers?
Yes. We have carefully considered all the processes filed and detailed oral submission of both counsel for the parties hearing.
Okay.
From the records of appeal, it is a fact admitted by both counsel for the parties that the said 3 documents are in volume 1 of the record of appeal as document disclosed. The main issue is whether or not the records of appeal contains exhibit tendered as exhibit AM, AM1 and AM2.
So the point is that
yes, both counsel.
What the lawyers, because we don't have all of them. What the lawyers were objecting to, that the records are not complete. Now they're appealing to bring it on board.
Which was brought on board.
Which was brought on board. That's your point.
Yes. So let me read.
Why are you quoting? You made me to give you the document and no show.
So it said, since the respondent said that the 3 documents are the same for the applicant admit by the exhibit best option. I just want to tell you, just give you the ruling itself.
No, because of time. Let me come to But
the point is that the 3 judges sat on this particular and ruled on it.
Right.
So for me, I am not in support of the woman going free. If you are a Ghanaian, you must be very angry. But that anger must also be shared, because a certain group of people decided to do prefer Trump-up charges, inflated, exaggerated.
Who was doing the
prosecution? No serious prosecution or prosecutor will throw out that plenty charges from 9 categories of offenses. And if this one doesn't pick, this one will pick. So at the end of the day, you realize the legs upon which the entire judgment was premised was very weak. That is why the judge who sat on the main case was embarrassed by the appeal judges.
Let me hear from you. There's so much we have to explore. There's even the angle of releasing Chemaun to me. I want us to discuss that.
No, but we are not done with the judgment.
I know.
All right. So I'll be on stop.
You made the whole thing.
No, I get it. No. It's not disorganized.
So you have 20 minutes. How many minutes do you want again?
Go
ahead. You have 20 minutes to speak. I'm saying it's disorganized. His thoughts are being disorganized by his
he doesn't have anything to say.
Because he contradicted himself. You see? Good morning to our cherished viewers, and thank you so much for the opportunity. This is just his entire submission. His entire submission. is just like the conclusion by Shraj when President Mahama took that Ford expedition bribe. They said he breached the gift policy, but he was not culpable for corruption. You understand? Someone who wrote in his gift policy that if you take anything more than $5, it is really corruption. Now he took $100,000. They said, well, he breached that gift policy, but he was not culpable for corruption. That is his entire submission. He says, if you're a Ghanaian and you hear that this woman who has been incarcerated for 10 years, who has run away from the country.
You have nothing to say. You came here to discuss my point.
You see?
No, I have to.
We're having a discussion.
No, discussion, what discussion?
And I am
nothing to say.
You see? That's why I was quiet.
You are dabbling in propaganda. You have nothing really serious to say.
I'm saying that.
Yes.
He has contradicted himself big time in the sense that he said that if you're a Ghanaian, especially when you hear that Chairman Wontumi has been incarcerated and you're celebrating it, then within a week or two, then you hear that the woman who ran away during trial, who refused to come to this country, the country had to spend millions or thousands of dollars to bring her into this country. After she came, she spent 15 days without we knowing where she was at the time. To the extent that Franklin Kujo, Imani Africa, came to tell Ghanaians that his information from government is that she was on house arrest. Until Bafowua came to do his press engagement in Parliament.
You're asking for clarity.
MP from Asia South.
Confidence.
MP from Asia South. You do this and will destroy the show.
No,
the thing is that you spoke for I was quiet.
Who is Bafowua? Asking you for clarity. Calm down.
Clarity to you.
Are they hosts?
You said you were doing discussion.
But I thought you said you were doing a discussion.
Oh, you are not principled. Only 3 seconds.
When he came,
but allow them to ask you. Which of the words are you referring to? Is this
the MP from Asia?
So we need to
our spokesperson on leave.
The one who has been lying.
Yes. So you see, if you look at all these, if you look at the trajectory, and you look at all these, you are disappointed as a Ghanaian. But he says the woman is not also innocent.
Yes.
That's the contradiction.
No.
Because she has been acquitted in this charge. Right. You right.
Standard when it comes to criminal prosecution. You know the standard.
No, but allow.
So the mere fact that somebody may not be innocent doesn't mean that the standard is proven.
Yes, but
no, he's selling some sort of ignorance out there.
I get it, but let him and then we'll check.
Let the viewer understand.
Yeah. So make the point. Yes.
When I heard that she has been acquitted and discharged, I was not surprised at all. I was never surprised when I heard that. Because if you look at this government in the last 1 year, 8 months, or 6 months, what this government has done over the last 1 year, 6 months, is telling us that this thing is not news. When I heard that she has been acquitted and discharged, I was never surprised. Because when this government took over in 2025, all those who were standing trial, who were NDC people, they filed nolle prosequi and discontinued all.
You will not.
Have you read the judgment?
You understand? They discontinued all. To the extent that someone has been given 60% to pay.
No. Let him land.
They have waived. They have waived 40% for him to pay because
but we'll ask him the questions.
So when I saw this and looking at her co-accused, you know, he applied for bail twice after he was incarcerated. He applied for bail twice at the high court that incarcerated him. It was denied him. He asked for bail at the appeals court, and that was also denied. That is Daniel Axim. Then when this government came to power, It was taken to Supreme Court and he was granted bail. Today he's roaming the streets, he's home. Right. And the bail condition was only 500,000. Someone who was incarcerated because of 96 million Ghana cedi got 500,000 bail.
He got 500,000. I thought it was your party that was saying we are weaponizing bail in this country.
I'm saying, okay, so within the same period.
That's true.
That's true. Within the same period.
Yes.
Aminata Bawumia went to court for a misdemeanor. For a misdemeanor.
Yes.
She was granted 1 million Ghana cedis bail. Yes, I was in court that day. She was granted 1 million Ghana cedis bail.
So what's the point?
With a passport. And she was supposed to produce a passport. In the court, Bafo was stood and told the judge that she doesn't have a passport. He said, okay, come for a review on Monday. So it means a calculated attempt to keep her there. It is a charge that even if she was able to really, if she was to plead guilty simpliciter over there, it is 500 penalty units, which is akin to only 6,000 cedis. But she was given 1 million cedis bail. This is someone who is in jail for 96 million Ghana cedi. For 96 million Ghana cedi, he was given 500,000 cedis bail.
So
that is her co-accused. I'm coming. Yes. The point I am making is that this is a calculated attempt to remove her from to remove Sedinam to prevent her.
No, we are not doing. No, television is for education. There is a judgment. He has not spoken to the ruling, and it's just going on.
I'm not a lawyer.
What are you doing? So you are saying anything?
My party asked me to.
No. We cannot.
You don't determine what I say.
Your party told you
somebody who understands and then can explain.
No, he says the party asked him to.
But why are you descending on him?
No, but I'm very surprised.
Your party has crossed between you and this man to come and do propaganda.
Hold on. Let me ask you.
You understand? So
my question to you. Can you listen to
my goodness?
Okay. Let me ask you two questions.
If you allow me to do my submission before I get to the judgment,
hold on.
I will be happy.
Yes.
Because you gave them 20 minutes.
You've not read any judgment.
Let me ask you the question.
You've not read any judgment.
Listen to me. Let me ask you.
This is how you reduce yourself.
Two issues. Is this a nolle prosequi in the case of Sedinam? Is it?
No.
So the AG didn't file a nolle prosequi for her?
No, he didn't.
So
he couldn't have filed it.
But you were making reference to
by law, he couldn't do that.
Yeah, I get that. So it's.
But I'm saying that.
You say you are not a lawyer, but now you are stating.
So when it comes to the facts of it,
none of us on this table is a lawyer.
Yes, but I'm saying
so definitely,
that's what I'm saying.
Whatever you say cannot be tested in court. So definitely,
even if there is a lawyer sitting here, whatever they say, that's already.
But you mentioned the legal point. That's why I'm asking.
That's why I go to court.
You mentioned a legal terminology, nolle prosequi, to indicate that the Attorney General was dropping charges against people.
Yes.
I'm saying that the facts of the matter for the Sedinam case. This is not a nolle prosequi.
So I was giving you a history behind what had happened in court.
Yes.
And I told you that this woman was standing trial. She opened even her defense and started defending until she told the state that she was not well.
Yes.
And she was given a leave to go outside to take care of herself. Two people stood surety. Alex Mould and Governor Tamaklu.
Yes.
They stood surety, they couldn't produce her. She decided not to come at all. We proceeded on the case. She was not
These
the
are
only
known
person.
facts.
She was not
knows that.
But why do you have to determine what I say?
You are just repeating.
I am not here to please your NDC people.
Everybody knows.
What you understand?
Hold on.
No, I'm not here to please your NDC.
Just make.
It is about discussing the judgment that has come.
I want to listen to Awal for now, and then I'll.
Are you not surprised that he's not quoting anything from the judgment?
I will come to that.
And doing politics, pure politics.
But don't descend.
But it's also
Don't descend on him like that.
You can walk out.
Yeah,
if you think I am annoying because I didn't invite you here.
I'm listening.
You can just walk out. Because I didn't invite you here.
I'm listening to you. So
I'm saying that
if you follow these guys, you may not be able to make your point. So just
it means the time is also going.
No, that's what I'm saying.
You understand? So you will have to restrain them from
so just listen and flow.
I'm saying that this woman left, absconded. She left the country.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
She did not return. Even the sureties were hauled before court and they couldn't really produce her. the case, she was not the only person standing trial. She stood trial with Daniel Axim.
Yeah.
Daniel Axim went through, defended himself through till the end of the case. Yeah. The court felt that Daniel Axim was guilty together with her.
Okay.
The court jailed Daniel Axim 5 years.
And you've just told us he's been bailed.
Yes,
yeah,
5 years. 5 years.
We've established.
So when the NDC came back to power and they were releasing people who were standing trial, he was also released.
Okay.
After his release, we said it even here.
No. Let's
bail pending appeal. Which is legal.
Case,
okay.
Is he still at Nsawam?
What is Wontumi doing?
He has been incarcerated. He spent close to 2 years over there.
So the point
now, the point is that when it happened, I was just trying to tell you that when I heard the ruling, I was not surprised.
Oh, you're not surprised.
I was not surprised because her co-accused is already at home.
Out. Okay. And that
is already out.
And that was
and again, listen. When you read the Supreme Court ruling, when he was granted bail, they said the proceedings should be transmitted to the Court of Appeal within a month. For 6 months, that thing has not been done. I'm coming, but there are two people in the case. So that's why
the case is the same.
For 6 months, they're the same. That's the core complex. So the cases are the same. For 6 months, the Court of Appeal has not sat on this case.
But let me.
But it has been granted bail.
Just a minute.
You will not have any minutes. You don't have any minutes in my. You don't have any minutes in my submission. You don't have any minutes in my submission. Leave.
Are you aware?
Right. I didn't even hear that. I'm saying that for the last 6 months, his case has not been called.
Okay.
He has been bailed.
Okay.
Which was supposed to be within 1 month, so that the appeals court will start. The Court of Appeal will start. Listening to his appeal.
Okay. So for 6 months,
for 6 months, he had not been. How do you call it? The case had not been discussed.
Okay. Can we deal with Sedinam Tamaklo now? Yes.
Now with Sedinam Tamaklo, the circumstances with which she came into this country, how she came, and how they shielded her from day one. If not for the American embassy telling us that she was in this country, we didn't know. And nobody, no journalist can even produce a single picture of her in Ghana, even up to today. Because you see, the standard practice of the Ghana police is that if they arrest someone who has stolen a fowl, they will snap his picture and write it on their Facebook page and website.
No.
When Sedinam entered into this country,
it's not true.
They never showed a picture of her.
That the person
again, no Ghanaian
how the police show your face?
I'll come to you.
When they bring
no Ghanaian journalist could produce a single picture of Sedinam Tamaklo at the airport or at the.
So do you know that you've been on this show a couple of times?
Yes, a number of times.
You are a very regular person on this.
Yes.
You were telling me some time back that the reason for which Ken Ofori Atta would not want to come into this country was that you are a journalist and you know the optics. When he's coming, they will align bring a lot of journalists and people to take a photograph of Ken, which is not proper. You told me that on the show.
No, I didn't say it's not proper. I said they would do that. And I told you, I was even telling you, it was even within this Sedinam when she came to this country. I was on this show, and I said that if it were to be Ofori Atta, you have all his pictures splashed across the country.
So I'm correct.
Yes, you're correct. I said it. But I didn't say that it was improper.
Okay.
I didn't say that. I said that I was analyzing the Sedinam entry into this country. And I told you that if not for the U.S. Embassy telling us that they have brought her into this country, we didn't have known. Until Felix came to tell us that she's in, but she's with the security agencies. For 15 days, we didn't know where she was until Franklin Kujo came to tell us that she was on house arrest. He said she was on house arrest. Then on Joy News, on Newsnight, they called Felix. Where is she? He said she is in one of the prisons.
Why have we been taken on a roller coaster?
They are
discussing the judgment or these are peripherals and reality.
Let him raise the issue first.
What is this?
Okay.
She is in one of the prisons.
The people of the prisons want to know what happened.
You called the prison's PRO.
Yeah.
He said he didn't know where they were until we confirmed that she only went after 15 days.
Can we
so if you look at the trajectory,
what are you talking about?
The movement from America, from Ghana, and how she was sent there, we picked that intelligence that this one will happen. Because on the 25th of June, Bawumia, the spokesperson on legal, stood there in Parliament and said that she will be brought before the Court of Appeal and she will be discharged, acquitted and discharged. He said it 1 month ago. He said it a month ago that they will overturn the ruling because the decision is that they are bringing her into this country so that they could acquit and discharge her.
Can I ask the question now?
Yes.
If the prosecution was solid, do you feel that the Court of Appeal would have found any reason at all to free her?
Yes.
Hey.
And that would
because
have been on which basis?
You see?
Because in the appeal process, just indulge me.
So prosecution.
Just indulge protest. In the appeal process, no fresh evidence.
Yes, no fresh evidence.
So you're still within the same remit as though the start of the whole entire charge process.
Yes.
Are you telling me that if something had not gone wrong, the Court of Appeal would have found any reasonable ground to free her?
So when you go for an appeal, you don't adduce fresh evidence, but you must have solid defense. If the defense becomes so, if the defense did a shoddy job, don't forget that the defense is not.
So someone has to do a shoddy job for the Court of Appeal to be able to.
So then what are we discussing?
Because you see, you look at the written submission of.
This was what
then you
said it.
Okay, let me give you.
What he said that indeed Bawumia lied and so on.
Who did the shoddy job now?
The current Attorney General.
Hey!
Look at
let's get up and go.
No, look at
Why did you sleep?
So
my goodness.
Don't leave there. Don't leave there.
So listen. This is the written submission.
Oh, wow.
This is the written submission by the court, the current Attorney General. The written submission. In the first page of the written submission, which you all have, I'm saying that we wish to bring to the attention of this honorable court that the record of appeal before the court is not complete.
But we have dealt with that.
What have you done to do when it was the written submission?
But friend, that means
it was the written submission.
The written submission
that the court stood
on
to even give that judgment. This is what they said. It is not complete.
Take this and read paragraph 8. Read it.
Godfred, don't mistake.
You read it yourself. You are coming from the same stuff.
To be honest,
read it.
Yes, I have given you the judgment.
I'm saying that your own submission that the court sat to adjudicate, which was presented on the 9th of April, the state said that the records of proceedings that the High Court judge used was not complete.
But I'm saying that is not the case.
I'm not even talking about this. I'm talking about which was
they gave the opportunity.
What was rectified?
Opportunity which was rectified. That is what Godfred said.
It's stated in Godfred.
Take the judgment.
What did he say?
It's on the
read paragraph 8. Read paragraph 8. Please read paragraph 8.
No. Let's start from paragraph 7.
Yes. Okay. You start from where?
In a written submission, the principal state attorney repeated her complaints. Repeated her complaints.
Fantastic.
Right? About an incomplete record of appeal.
Fantastic.
Which I have read.
Go ahead.
You understand?
Yeah, you go ahead.
An omission from the record of all the exhibits tendered by the prosecution.
Fantastic.
At the trial.
Yes.
And the fact that they became aware of the instant proceedings after the court had directed the parties to file their written submission.
Now read paragraph 8.
Now the paragraph 8.
Yes.
The Court of Appeal, presided over by Her Ladyship Mensa Dacha, GA, proceeded to inquire into the fundamental matters raised by the state attorneys, which affected the court's jurisdiction to determine Ms. Atieno's appeal, by ordering that the 3 volumes of the record of appeal, which the Republic did not access at the time is filed and written submissions be given to the Republic. I'm coming.
So
this was done.
This was what?
This was what?
This was what?
This was done. The matter was urgent.
Absolutely. So what else?
No, I'm reading something here.
No, I'm reading something.
I'm reading something
important. Please.
On the 17th of June,
a
different panel.
So it's not about
So it's not a panel that you say.
Wow, Mohammed.
I'm shifting what? You are saying that I should read that.
No, so you are not shifting into another matter.
I am not, because I'm reading what you've given me.
I gave him paragraph.
Here's the thing.
I'm coming.
Okay, you read that.
According to Godfred, when the state attorney told her ladyship Justice Minister Adacha,
you've read that already.
I'm coming, but I have to do analysis on this on the same document. Okay. So when they drew her attention that the records are not complete,
it was done.
Then
it was.
No, it was.
But you read paragraph 8.
It was rectified.
No.
But what does paragraph 8?
The matter. You see, he said. By ordering, they ordered. But he didn't say it was not.
Let me read. Give me my document.
No, I'm saying.
No, give me my.
They ordered.
I realized that this is what you
the day that they were supposed to submit all this. The day that they were supposed to submit all this, a different panel was changed.
Okay,
this is it here.
Guys, hold on. Can I ask you a question? You hold on.
I've given you the judgment.
Guys.
Mohammed.
But you are telling us to do this.
You give me my document. You give me the
document first.
I will not give it to him. I'm only. No. Hold on. I'm saying that the man did not contradict himself. The man is telling you that before, when the judge ordered that
there was a different
bring in.
I have already said
the different panel.
It was taken over by This one is an obvious.
Okay, let me ask you a question.
Yes.
You admitted that you're not a lawyer, correct?
Yes.
So if you have an expert opinion from a lawyer, you would accept that, right?
Sure.
Okay. On this platform, on the multimedia platform, we have Samson Ladiayeni, who's told us that it's normal practice for such an occurrence to happen in the process. So if you have a different panel, it's not the case that something untoward happened. So would you accept that opinion?
No, what Godfred is saying is that what Godfred is saying.
Because even Godfred did not say anything was done wrong.
Yes.
No. But what was he impugning here?
No,
he told you. What he was impugning here is that the changing of the panel had a substantial repercussion on the case.
That is even dangerous for the new
It is not, because they only sat for 1 day. The next day for judgment. They only sat for a day. They only sat for a day.
Let me borrow 1 minute from Solo.
Sammy, are you giving that 1 minute?
Yes. You see, the judgment I was reading on this whole hula balu.
Yes.
This is the final determination by the panel. This is the judgment.
I'll come to you again.
Through certified copy.
Yes.
And it says, in the circumstances, we have no legal option than to grant the application in the interest of justice and speedy trial. The application is hereby granted. This is the judgment. This is the judgment. You can take the judgment and read. So there is no.
It's not a judgment. Basing your argument on Godfred and Godfred did not.
Argument of Godfred.
Guys, I'll come back to you.
All right.
Thank you very much.
I was prepared to answer the question on why your party is asking for Chairman Moon to be freed because of this. And apologies to my studio.
Because of this? We didn't say because of this.
Okay, I'm sorry, but it's.
We didn't say because of this.
You are explaining that later.
Thank you very much.
Do you want me to ask you a question?
Let me first.
Because you all don't want me to ask you questions.
Oh, you can. I mean, that's why we are here. Good morning to our viewers. Good morning to my co-panelists and yourself. And our brothers here who have always been with us. This morning, I wish.
I want to respond.
I believe that
I should respond to what?
He's saying good morning to you at least.
Our spoke for about 30 minutes.
30.
I believe that you.
But we started the program when?
It's okay.
When we started the program?
It's okay.
I didn't even target.
I started 8 o'clock. I timed myself. Now it's 8:11. With all the interjections from everyone here.
Let me also talk.
Okay.
I've listened to Awa, and I honestly believe that Awa wish today he didn't come.
Why?
Because after listening to him for over 30 minutes, clearly.
You still want to lie?
Everything.
You still
want to lie, and you are saying that I wish I couldn't come here. No, you shouldn't be lying.
Yes, but we'll come back to that.
I started 8. The program started when? I spoke for
Everything shows that Awa has not read the judgment.
I have read it. You have not read it.
But it's bogus. Before I because they use technicality.
Awa. Okay.
Let me speak. Before I even get there, first of all, the MPP's propaganda that Madam Sedinam was brought into Ghana so that she gets freed does not even make sense from the beginning. You recall that when we came into government, one of the claims the MPP was making in opposition was that there is no way the NDC will bring Madam Sedinam to Ghana because she's an NDC person.
So they said that?
Yes, on several platforms. They said that we're not committed to the fight against corruption because Madam Sedinam is an NDC person. We will make sure that she doesn't see Ghana. Only for the woman to come. Now, they have X on their faces. They needed to change the propaganda. Now, they are saying that even though she has been brought to Ghana, they don't think that she's in prison custody. Meanwhile, the prison's evidence have not come to tell you the woman is not there. Now, while the citizen on a platform quoting the Facebook post of a civil society organization, Mr. Franklin Kujo, we all respect.
Yes.
He granted please.
He did not only
please.
He granted interview.
Yeah, whatever the case.
Who does not work at the prison service? Who is not a government official? The official government spokesperson, the Honorable Fellow Kwaku,
he also lied
that he is in the custody of the prison service. Between Mr. Franklin Kujo and the Honorable Felix Kwachu, who should we believe?
Because
please.
I'm not Felix lied. I'm not because it was Asare corroborated what Bafo was said. She spent 15 days without being in prison.
Right,
Felix lied.
What are you talking about?
You've done this job.
Prison officer.
You've done this
job. Is the one that
you corroborated what?
He's granted you that. He's granted you that. That it's okay.
Yes. There's no problem.
You should understand that Felix lied because that time
at the time
because the prison's PRO told Joy News that he doesn't know where she was at the time.
Yeah, I get that. So let's listen to.
You've done this job for a very long time, and you know that you know that when official spokespersons speak, we must be able to respect them.
When they lie, we have to point them out.
So he's granted you that point. That whatever the case, he chooses to believe Felix.
At least they have a presumption.
But that's his boss, so definitely.
So that is a fact.
All right.
I have also taken the opportunity to read the judgment. And before that, we need to make it clear that the argument and the MPP propaganda that government must take the flak for this judgment does not make sense. The judiciary, they are not spokespersons or the people that prosecute government agenda. They are an independent state institution. When the High Court made the ruling that Madam Sedinam should be incarcerated for 10 years, we accepted it. Now, when the appeals court comes to say that the same woman should be freed, we are bound to go by it.
You mean the law is the law? Eh?
The law is the law. In fact, at the end of the day, when the High Court gave the ruling, they did the ruling based on the fact that they had. The same judiciary says that the woman should be let go. Why should government be behind it? When the woman was incarcerated, was she incarcerated because President Akufo Addo wanted her to be incarcerated? Because she was incarcerated under President Akufo Addo. Suddenly, the MPP has now gotten a brainwave that when an appeals court or any other court makes a judgment, it is because the government of the day wants that to be done. And I don't think that we must encourage a situation, and especially when everyone knows in this country that the appeal process actually started 2 years ago on the 9th of May 2024.
According to Attorney General, it was not brought to his attention. On your own statement that you are reading here,
please.
You pick and choose where to read.
No, but the judgment is here.
There was no evidence whatsoever.
Read it.
The document.
I'll come back to that. I've told you that.
The document of the notice of appeal is of public knowledge.
No, it is not.
How is it not?
We know Godfred.
The Attorney General says that it was not.
I'll
come back to you.
Goodness, just accept everyone like that.
Godfrey, you don't expect him to come and admit it. This is a man who actually went ahead to tell a witness that he should go to a doctor and procure a fake.
You want me to take such
you want me to believe such a person?
So, but you trust someone who caught someone doing galamsey and said, "Come and admit that you're doing galamsey. You will be you be left with the once Jamawu to will be instantly. You trust that man? Are you not the law? No, you trust that man who said that I caught someone doing galamsey. Come and be a prosecution witness."
When you were talking, I was quiet. Why
your colleagues were making?
I'm not them.
Your colleagues, I'm not them. One of them. He is also here to represent NBC. So definitely,
I'm not them. So you don't have to do that to me. When you were talking, I was quiet.
Give that credit. Let him.
I didn't do that to you. So why
you were not even asking him? Please,
I'm relaxed. But
when I started from the first minute, you were from the first minute you were interrupting me.
Bless.
I'll give you the time. I told you I'll come.
When you take the opportunity to read the judgments.
I'll give him the relevant right now.
Please give the document to our
the judges.
I'll show him the page. I will not just
yes.
Which one?
Go ahead. Yes.
The judges meticulously and carefully actually responded to each of the claims, and anyone that takes time to read it will come to the irresistible,
of course,
conclusion that indeed there was no case.
Okay, can I come through now? This is my question
about
to you.
Even read the
I'm not. But it's based on the point you've just made.
Yes.
Here are two issues coming up.
What issues?
The Attorney General is now telling us that he intends to file
an appeal
to the Supreme Court this time out. Right?
Yes, that is the official government position.
Now, he was asked a very critical question by my colleague Maxwell Agbegba, and that question still remains unanswered. Why is the Attorney General not filing fresh charges if indeed the decision of the court is simply because the charge sheet was defective?
Yes.
You can start the process all over again. It makes it easier.
They say the Attorney General should file charges based on the same principle or the document that will be double jeopardy. You can't do that. Certainly on different charges unrelated.
Yes.
But clearly not on this issue. That will be double. No.
How is he going to prove it? Is he not the Attorney General?
That's why you are angry.
But we are paying him. But we're paying the Attorney General. He can do it. He can file fresh charges.
He can.
Yes. The AG brought a fresh charge, and that's how he succeeded.
On the same
in the ruling.
Is it on the same set of facts or the same?
Differences.
Yes, but I'm saying that whatever the case, the Attorney General has the opportunity to file fresh charges.
I'm saying that we started a process.
Yes,
that process is still ongoing. The Attorney General believes that the state should appeal them. That's the position of the Attorney. He is the official government lawyer. You understand? But you see, when you read the judgment,
guys, let's listen to him.
It's Solo who is.
No,
now you want to also blame me for what Solo is telling me.
Okay.
When you read paragraph 80 of
guys, I'll come back to you.
Where it talks about the 500,000 Ghana cedis given to Obatampa and the documents and whatever. Listen to paragraph 80.
Okay.
This is from the judge. Yes. Since Exhibit
do you have the soft copy? You can refer to it. Okay.
I don't need to.
Okay.
Since Exhibit A, which is the letter that the prosecution brought, that Sedinam actually acknowledged receipt of the amount, which letter she contested and said that letter did not come from her. So since Exhibit A was admitted without objection, the remaining question is the weight properly to be attached to it. The applicant's subsequent conduct is difficult to reconcile with the document's content. Exhibit C and D tendered through PW5 show that the appellant signed letters to Obatampa Microfinance Company Limited demanding interest of 500,000 investment. 500,000 investment. Exhibit C dated 9 June 2025 was signed by the appellant and Phil Cliff Ayegache, head of credit risk. Exhibit D was signed by the appellant and PW5, head of finance. PW3 admitted receiving those letters, at least 3 other Maslock demands for interest between January and July 2015. Although PW3 claimed...
Who is PW3?
I'm coming. Although PW3 claimed that he reminded the appellant by WhatsApp that he had returned the cash to her in 2014 and that she replied that it would be addressed. Okay, so no WhatsApp messages was produced, nor any letter to Maslock acknowledging any cash refund. On the evidence as a whole, I am not satisfied that the respondent proved beyond reasonable doubt.
So where's the
appellant
Hold on.
received the 500,000. If receipt of the sum was not proved, this honest appropriation of that sum could not follow. The conviction and sentence on this count must therefore be set aside. What is
where's our 500,000?
Let's agree.
Where is our 500,000 then?
When you claim
yes,
that you actually gave 500,000
yes,
to the head of
you have to break this down.
When you owe somebody, so when somebody gives you a loan,
and you return it,
and you want to pay back, do you go and give it to the manager?
Or you pay to the bank's account?
Or you pay to the bank's account? You don't give it to the manager.
But it depends. It
depends on what.
In this case,
this is normal than Sedinam's personal money.
Right.
This is Maslock's money. Maslock has an account. Maslock is not a mushroom company. It is a creature of law. It is a state institution that has verifiable accounts and a number of people and what have you. So if you claim that you are giving them, there should be a letter with Maslock with a reference. Just like Solo said, hold on. Just like Solo said, there should be a reference number. That reference number, anybody that knows office work and administration knows that there's a need for us to use reference number. When Maslock takes receipt of an amount, there should be a letter in Maslock today. Yeah. Today, clearly showing that indeed that amount was.
But it's just WhatsApp. The people
that claim that they had WhatsApp chat from Madam Sedinam could not produce that WhatsApp chat. In fact, so that account was dismissed.
Wait, if you must go from the money according to auditors did not enter into the account.
The next count is the fund intended for sensitization.
Yes,
and money.
So let's deal with that.
When you read portions of exactly what happened from paragraph 94 downward,
all the way down.
94 to 95.
Yeah, so that was the question and answer session.
Let's read it.
It's a bit slow. Forgive me. So
this is 94.
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm reading. So interestingly, upon a perusal of the record, I find the prosecution led evidence to corroborate with the appellant's assertion that she distributed the money to the victim. PW1 testified under cross-examination on 24 March. Yes. Question this. So you testified some days ago that the issues in respect of Gyarko downfall are no more relevant. Was that your testimony? He said that, oh, yes, my lady. And I also recall your testimony was that it was not relevant because you got to know that it was used for the purpose for which
it was withdrawn.
The accusation was that she took the money and did not use it for what it was supposed to be used for.
Misappropriation.
Yes, misappropriation. Okay, so he said, yes, my lady. How did you get to know that it's used for the purpose for which it was withdrawn? Oh, the answer, he said, it was through inquiry. And the judge asked, inquiry by who? And he answered, inquiry by Bawumia and associate. That led us to that conclusion. And the judge asked, whom did you inquire from? We inquired from both within and without. Within means after speaking to some officials of Maslock and then some officials of Gyarko, but I cannot pinpoint which of them. We come to the conclusion that the matter had been resolved. If it had not been resolved, we would have put forward an additional.
This is what Dr. Stephen Amo.
This is what he said.
And the judge asked, is this testimony of yours captured in the report? He said, no, it was not captured in the report.
Look at that.
And the judge said, the admission that PW1.
So what is he?
Please. The admission by PW1 strikes at the very foundation of this charge of stealing against the appellant. Prosecution witness 1 knew that the appellant had distributed the funds to the victims. PW says, please.
Let him.
Sensitization is different from
please.
Two things.
Please.
So you should go.
PW says confirm.
How does the victims come in?
Guys.
The money was the monies were meant for.
Don't mind him. It's deliberate.
Okay, yeah. So
see, 1.7 million.
Awal is doing that.
Okay, guys.
PW says confirm.
I told you I'll come back to you.
So the judges jammed it.
Listen to this.
Yet the material fact found no place in the report tendered in evidence. If the funds were applied to their intended purpose, the allegation of dishonest appropriation cannot sensibly be sustained. It shows inexorably that the prosecution failed to prove beyond reasonable doubt the indispensable element of the honest appropriation according to what I mean.
All right.
Let me give you final one.
Okay.
On
but you have to be fast.
Yes. But me,
yes, I know.
This is Stikes, one of Stikes. So this is one of the judgments.
Okay. Which of them? You have to be specific.
The 350 buses that must look, cars that must look.
Yes.
So, but
please. Oh, it's the same. It's on my phone. PW wants evidence further confirmed. Listen. Because this was more of inflicted contract and approval and what have you.
When you say PW, the name of Dr. Stephen Amwa.
Dr. Stephen Amwa. Evidence further, yes. Evidence further confirmed that the applicant did not authorize payment of that 350 vehicles during her tenure as the CEO of Maslow. It was Teka who, after assuming office and renegotiating the unit price in 2016, authorized payments to Mark Autos. Those payments continued in 2018, by which time the applicant no longer had office. If, as the prosecution suggested, the contract lacked the necessary approval or ministerial authorization, it is difficult to see how Sticker could lawfully have proceeded to perform it and authorize payments. The prosecution therefore failed to prove beyond reasonable doubt that the appellant contravened the procurement act as charged. The conviction and sentence on both accounts.
So basically, Sticker.
So what it means is that
renegotiated.
You are incarcerating a person for payment made by.
Okay.
Thanks for watching. Like and share the video. You can also drop your comment. Please don't forget to subscribe. Click on the bell to turn on the notification.